Hi, I'm Jeannie Robertson, founder of the On Purpose Woman Global Community and founder and publisher of On Purpose Woman magazine. I'm here to share the speaker portion of our Connections Over Coffee gathering of the On Purpose Woman Global Community. Julie Goetzinger is speaking on finding your higher purpose. Julie is an intuitive success coach, a motivational speaker, and the international best-selling author of Free to Fly, Manifest the Life of Your Dreams. Her mission is to help ambitious professionals to find their higher purpose so they can live a more fulfilling life. She does this by helping them to reconnect to their intuition so that they can tune into what is best for them and let go of everything else. You can find out more about Julie at juliegoetzinger.com, and that is also in the text of this video. Julie, thank you for being here, and you are on.
Awesome. Thank you so much for having me today. I'm really honored to be here with you and to speak about purpose. And so I do have a free support group for anybody going through loss right now, because what I found is that we look for purpose and meaning in our lives after something bad happens, usually. When things are just going fine, when everything is just status quo, we don't really notice a lot, and we don't take time to be grateful. Some of us do, but a lot of times we just kind of go through the motions. We're just trying to get through the day, take care of the kids, make the money, take care of our spouses and our family and friends. And then something happens and it rocks our world. Maybe somebody in our family dies, our loved one leaves us, maybe there's a breakup. We get diagnosed with cancer. For me, it was divorce. There's so many things that we go through in our lives that they just change us forever. And I started this free support group because I wanted people to have a place to express. I know for me, when I got divorced, I probably suppressed it for about a year and didn't talk about it. And I just went out and had fun and kind of numbed myself with work. I definitely overworked and pushed myself to achieve. I achieved a lot in a short amount of time. I made the money I wanted to make. I became an international best-selling author. I hosted 10 retreats. I did a lot. And all of those things were on my list of things I wanted to do, but I was doing them from a place of not really knowing who I was anymore and just wanting to fill the time. And then I stopped and looked at my life and I said, wait, like, what am I doing? What's really important to me? What matters to me? How am I meant to serve in the world? And I ended up changing my title maybe a million times, and I was asking everybody else, who am I? Who do you see me as? What do you want me to do? And turning to my clients for that, and turning to people and circumstances outside of myself to tell me who I am. And then I got to a place of enough of this, enough of looking outside of me. And I tuned into the divine and I asked higher power, how do you want me to serve? And sometimes it takes getting to a place of there are no other options. It's almost like you feel strongholded into a new path because what you're doing is not working, or you get sick, or something happens that redirects you when we are not listening to our higher purpose and the higher power. And for me, I took a month, and it doesn't sound like a long time, but it was a month of shutting everything down, like outside noise, getting off of social media. I stopped going to social events. I stopped engaging with alcohol and sugar and things that were clouding my judgment and my intuition. And I got really quiet. And I asked higher power, why am I here? How am I meant to serve now? And what I got was as much pain as you've experienced in not knowing why you're here and looking to everybody else for the answers. We want you to like look within yourself and to tune into that higher wisdom and to connect with your angels and connect with, your departed loved ones and ask for that divine guidance. And that's when I heard that my purpose now is to help others to find their purpose. And I have this group, finding purpose after loss, because I've realized that that usually is the time when people need the most help. And the way I set up my group is that it's a place to safely express where you are, what you are going through, without being told what to do, without having someone say, you should try this, or have you thought about this? It's not that, it's that we're here to express and to feel the emotions. And the more that we allow ourselves to feel and be in the depths of that grief, of that pain, the faster it can process through us. And we call this alchemy in the spiritual world, that we can alchemize quickly when we allow ourselves to get into the depths of it and feel it. And then from that place to be emptied out and into that place of surrender, that now we're ready. Now I'm ready. And that is what I help guide people through with my support group. I did put a link in the chat there for, it's my website. If you go under events, you will see that there. It's called Finding Purpose After Loss. And I also am an intuitive, and I am one that can connect to the other side, and I connect to spirit guides, angels, and I ask for guidance for other people. And as I do, I receive messages for myself simultaneously. The people I work with are in the same collective group as me, so we're going through similar things. We're just at different points in that journey. So what I wanted to do next is to open myself up to the group and to see if somebody, has a question about their purpose. Maybe there's a path they're considering going in, or maybe something just happened that you just don't know what's next. And a lot of times when we are in a lot of pain, it can be hard for the intuition to hear, to hear the intuition. And for me, it's easier for me to hear. For other people, I am claircognizant. So I get messages for other people very easily. For myself, it's harder. It's harder to get your own messages, which is why I too have my own healers and intuitives that I go to. But for other people, when they ask the questions, I receive the guidance. And it's not just for that person that asked the question, it's for the collective group. So usually I'm guided to people who have questions that they're someone who's brave enough to ask, who's not afraid to be vulnerable and to ask for help or to ask for guidance, and also who has a question that multiple people in the group have. So I wanted to open it up for questions. If somebody has a question about your path, a direction you're considering going in, or you just don't know and you just want some guidance today. So if you have something, you can raise your hand and I will call on you, and then I'll tune in for guidance for you. I'm going to put it on speaker.
I can't work my camera for some reason, so I know you all can't see me.
Is this Millie?
Yes.
Okay.
I had mentioned earlier that I had lost my wife back in December, and I am lost. And I don't know which way is up or down sometimes.
I'm so happy that you're here with us today, Millie. Thank you so much for your bravery. Thank you for your vulnerability. Thank you for stepping up. I was hoping that you would, and I knew why you were here when I heard your story earlier, and I'm so happy that you said yes to the call. And I feel like a part of you felt like, why am I here? Like, what, like, am I in the right place? And I wanted to shout, yes, you're in the right place. And I want to speak from the perspective of the divine about this loss that you feel. So what it is, this is the definition of love. When we love someone, something so deeply, so completely, the perception of absence from that person, from that connection, feels like absolute, like the abyss. It's dark. It's painful. It feels like, I don't know, it's like you're in the ocean and you're underwater and you can't find the surface of the water. Like you're swimming around, like trying to find the surface, and you can't find that surface. And I feel the pain that you feel. I feel the confusion and not knowing which way is up. And I will tell you that you're going in the right direction because you came today, because you were here, and you're asking which way is up, where is the light. So you're being asked to follow the light, That is how we know where the surface is. It is the part that is illuminated, is the part that's a little brighter than where you are. I trust that I'm being guided to this place where I will feel a little bit better, just that little glimmer of brightness. I will feel it again. I trust that the sun is there. The sun hasn't gone anywhere. It's not going to be dark like this forever. I trust that I'm being guided. And the good thing about being in the ocean is that you will be pulled up to the surface. Your natural state is to come back to the surface, to come back to the light, that you can't hold yourself down there. It is not your natural state to be sitting at the bottom of the ocean. And divine forces are bringing you up, are carrying you up to that surface, to the light. And when you get to that surface, imagining yourself floating, being carried, and it does feel like now I have the image of you floating on the surface of the water and just going with the current. So trusting, being in this, just the direction is going to take you. You don't need to paddle. You don't even have a boat. You're not doing any work. You're simply floating and allowing the current to carry you now. Are you a spiritual worker of some type, or you do spiritual work, or are you considering it?
I just became an ordained minister because some friends of mine wanted to get married and they wanted me to do it for them. So I just became one, but I did that one wedding and that was it.
So that's perfect, because you're the witnesser of love. You're declaring love. You're claiming love. You're solidifying love. You're being in the energy of love. That is a perfect path for you. That is ordaining love, ministering love, speaking love. The love that you have for, and I will say have, not had, this is not past tense. The love that you have for your partner is limitless, is this absolute, like, unconditional love that most people don't experience. Like, you've had this experience, and which is why the loss feels so great. So it's because you have such a love that the perception, the perceived absence of it is why you feel the pain. But you are the perfect person to marry people and love, to bring them together, especially unconventional relationships, maybe interracial or, different, sexuality. Like, you're the perfect person to bring together unconventional love, because you see love for love.
Yeah, so true.
Yeah, beautiful. Thank you so much, Millie.
Thank you.
I'm going to go to Beth. Beth asked, why do I feel stuck? Or why am I stuck? So I'm getting the visual of tar, of feeling like things are heavier, or it's like you're in slow motion. Like, it's kind of like in a dream when you're trying to, like, run and you're actually moving in slow motion. So it's the perception of being, and you are being intentionally slowed. This is intentional. So it's not you. There's nothing that you're doing wrong. It's an intentional slowdown for you, um, to redirect. Let me see, what is this about for Beth? It's time to really evaluate your life and what you want. So if you're just checking off the boxes and just going, like, I'm seeing you with a checklist, very organized, very analytical, that's not how you're being asked to live now. You're being asked to slow down. So if you don't slow down, the universe will slow you down. So this is an intentional slowdown, because it is time for you to really evaluate what's important to you, what matters now, what do I want now in my life. Beth, does this make sense for you, or other questions with this? You can unmute yourself, because I have my eyes closed.
I have felt like I've been held back, that something bigger is coming for me, and but I always push myself.
Yeah.
And so I just listening to what you said about Millie is just, I feel like I'm just floating towards that next thing, and I'm trying not to fight it. I'm just trying to allow myself to be guided. But I let other things creep in, the worry about finances, the worry about being alone, all these different things. So I just need to allow things to happen
So
instead.
finance doesn't exist on the river. So when we think of, higher perspective, like finance is a very human condition. When you think of higher perspective, like looking at your life from above, like picturing yourself floating on the river, there is no money exchanged on the river. Like taking that out of the equation here. I'm happy to hear that that message resonated with you too, of like allowing yourself to be carried. That's another one of your messages, because you've always carried other people. So it's time to allow yourself to be carried, and the flow is happening. The current is happening. There will be times when it's like whitewater rapids. There will be times when it's quiet and calm. There will be storms. There will be sun. But you really are, like, the more we can accept that we are not in control of like nature and higher power, and like just go with it, go with the flow. What can you do to bring yourself into flow? What can you do to allow yourself to be more fluid? Dance, music, relaxing in the sun. I do rowing, things that are symbolic to being in flow, to allowing yourself to be carried, and to trusting that the universe has your back. The universe knows where you are meant to go. And the slowdown is intentional. So rather than fighting it, release the temptation to fight it, to figure it out, to let go, and to allow yourself to just be carried on the river. And then you'll be pleasantly surprised where you're dropped off on shore.
Wow. I keep hearing surrender,
Yeah. Yeah.
surrender.
Surrender.
Thank you, Julie.
You're welcome. Welcome. I don't know where we are on time. Do I have time for one more, Jenny?
Yes, we have about 5 minutes.
Okay. Anybody else? Question?
Yeah, this is Tony.
Tony, okay.
I really do know that getting this book out in the world is part of my higher purpose. I just don't know what's after that. It feels like there's going to be a fall after the launch, or a confusion. I am trying to promote myself and do speaking engagements and get clients, but I feel like so much energy was into the book itself that
Oh,
what do I do now?
I resonate so much with this. It's like we work for this accomplishment and here it is. And then there can be this letdown. Like once we reach that goal, once we make, the multi six figures or write the book or whatever our goal is, and we're right at the pinnacle of it, there can be this sadness of like, what next? What can I be excited about now? This has been a dream of mine for so long, and here it is. And why am I not happier? And that's the part of you that wants to jump ahead to what's next, the next accomplishment, is not fully celebrating and embracing the accomplishment that is this book, that is the legacy, that is the book. Books are legacy. Books will be here beyond you, and your family will have this to look back on, and it will be generations and generations that will get this piece of you, and really embracing that and feeling that, and not jumping ahead to what's next. What can I accomplish next? What can I do next? What do I need to, like, there's no needing to do anything. Like, celebrate this accomplishment and think about the lives that will be changed. Think about all the joy. Think about the learning that's going to come from this beautiful creation that is your book. There could be other spin-off books. But you're really being asked to not jump ahead to what's next, and to also know that feeling of letdown is normal, because the anticipation is really fun for us right before we go on the vacation, right as we're falling in love, right before we're doing a launch. Like, that's a really fun part. And that's the part where we feel the adrenaline and we feel that, the endorphins, and we're all excited. And then we get to that, like, what's next? Like, am I going to feel this again? Will I be able to recreate this feeling again? And that's where the tendency to rush ahead to the next project comes in. Let's see if there's anything else for you, Jenny. Give it the time that it wants to be celebrated. It's like in Lion King, when the Simba is born and they raise up the lion and they celebrate, the kingdom celebrates. Like, give it the time to be celebrated, and think about all the, like there can be a lot of other things that spin off from the book. So rather than being like, okay, book's done, like project done, it's like, no, this is like a living, breathing creation that can lead to so many different opportunities, so many new connections, so many doors opening, and allow it to do all that rather than just like, oh, done. And then you look over here and it's like this beautiful creation is still blooming and blossoming and expanding. And you're not even looking at that beautiful creation that you had that part in. So like eyes back on that. Don't worry about what's next. Don't think about what's next. Dream about the possibilities that can be exploding out of this one creation, this special creation. There's also a lot of repurposing that can happen from the book, pulling content from the book, lead magnets, or doing different things with the book, leading to speaking opportunities, but really like letting it breathe, like let that breathe life into everything, and feel that energy, appreciate that energy, be in that pride, that joy for as long as you can. And then and when you're in that, that's when the inspiration for what's next comes. So that's how the inspiration comes in, because you're over here enjoying this creation, loving this creation, feeling grateful, feeling pride, and then bam, here comes inspiration for what's next. And as the inspiration for what next comes in, we can write it down, we can speak it into our phone, we can, record that in some way without being like, I'm going to abandon this and just go do this. It's like, let this happen. Inspiration comes in, we write it down, we record it, and then we add that to our file, or we add that to like, possibility for what's next, but avoiding the temptation to just jump from project to project. Does that make sense?
Okay. Yeah, that's great. And I really did want this to be big, like to change the healthcare system, to change how caregivers are seen in the communities. So getting, and it's in the book. It's in the book. And yeah, the spinoff of content, I appreciate that. Because
Awesome.
I get it. That's totally it. Thank you.
You're welcome. You're welcome. Yeah, I think I'm just about out of time, but I did leave my links in the chat here. I do offer complimentary purpose breakthrough calls with me. If you would like some insight, I use my intuition kind of like I did today to just give you a little bit of insight. And then if you feel called to work deeper with me, there's opportunities to work with me through retreats or one-on-one coaching. And I also have a money breakthrough guide, which is my free gift that helps you release any blocks around, can I make money from this? Or I really want to try this book, but I don't have time to do it, or I don't know how to get it started. So it's breaking down those blocks that stop you from doing what you want to do next.
Thank you, Julie. I'd love for everyone who's here with us on Zoom to unmute yourselves, and let's applaud so that Julie can hear our appreciation. Thank you, Julie. That was just magnificent. I love that. And I want to thank anyone who's watching this live or watching the replay on our YouTube channel. If you'd like to join us for one of our 9 Zoom gatherings or an in-person in Columbia, Maryland, Richmond, Virginia, or Tallahassee, Florida, go to my website, opwgc.com, and check us out. That link is also in the text of this video. Thanks, everyone.